Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are diving into how to properly clean your camera gear. Let's get straight into it. Camera gear can cost a small fortune, so it's up to you to keep it nice and clean and prolonging its life. If you don't end up cleaning your camera gear, it can start affecting your photos, it can start affecting the insides of the gear that you're using, but if you do regularly clean your gear, then you're not going to run into these problems further down the line. So I like to keep all of my camera cleaning essentials in this little pouch. And honestly, it is so cheap to buy all of these things, it is all worth getting. Inside of it, we have some sensor cleaning swabs, a rocket blower, a little brush, some lens solution, cleaning solution, some lens wipes, and a microfiber cloth. And they are all the essential things that you're gonna need to clean your camera gear. So starting things off, I'm going to be using this lens right here. This is the lens that I use for my nightclub work, and honestly it can get pretty dirty pretty quick. All of the dust and particles, dirty particles in the air ends up falling onto this lens, and then drunk people touching it all with their hands, and honestly it can get pretty dirty pretty quick. So every weekend I always clean this lens after each time I go out, because if I don't, it's going to then start affecting the photos that I take. I might actually end up having issues focusing because of how dirty the lens can get, and honestly with how long it takes, it is all worth doing. So to start things off, I like to use this. This is a little rocket blower, such a weird name for a weird little tool, but it is one of the best tools that you can use to clean your camera gear. So what I like to do to help get all of the dust and debris off the lens before I start wiping it is turn the lens around and start blowing this on the lens. This will help get all of the dust off of it and help the dust fall down. If I was to blow it on top, it's just going to end up pushing the dust into the lens, further into it, and we don't want that. Or if it's just going to blow up the dust and then the dust is going to fall back down straight onto it. So I turn the lens upside down, give it a few squeezes, and we can move on to the next step. You might still end up seeing a few little particles on the lens, so what I do if I do see that is use this little brush and just give the lens a quick wipe down. Nothing major, just to make sure there's no thick debris on the lens. Otherwise, if there is, and you start wiping this, let's say there's a little piece of dirt or a grain of sand on the lens, you can wipe it and wipe that grain of sand into the lens, scratching it all up, and we do not want that. So that's why I always take extra precautions in making sure there's no thick debris on the lens, and all it takes is just a few swipes. So next up, I use this. It is just a simple lens wipe. Once again, really cheap to get. I think I actually got a pack of 50 of these for like a £5. Really cheap to get. All it is a wipe with some lens cleaning solution on there, and all I do is place it on top of the lens, use my 2 fingers, start going around it in small circles, making my way outwards to the edge of the lens. And I might just do this a couple of times depending on how dirty the lens is. You don't need to do it too much, because as you can see, once you do that, the lens is just about there, nice and clean. As you can see, there is a few little dust particles there, so what I like to do, once again, give it another pass through with the brush. Great little tool this is. And we have a lens that looks just about brand new. Look at that, it's like new again. And that took what, less than a minute? Honestly, cleaning your lens does not take long to do, so it's always worthwhile doing them. But once you have actually cleaned your lens, make sure you put your lens cap back on top. That way it is protecting the lens from getting dirty again. Now you can do the same for the opposite side of the lens if you really want to. Normally I don't, because the only time I ever take this lens cap off is switching out the lenses. I know some people actually like to clean the little contact points, so if I ever do that, I just use a microfiber cloth, give them a quick rub down. That way they're keeping them clean from any dust and debris, and you're not going to be having any problems in the future. Bosh, nice clean lens. So next up, cleaning your camera's sensor. Now, I don't normally do this unless I need to. And the way to know if to clean the actual sensor is if you actually start seeing some little black spots around your pictures. I'll throw some images up now of what that can actually look like. And if you ever see something like that, it means you've got some dust and dirt on your camera's sensor. Now this can be a tricky and a bit of a fiddly job to do. And honestly, if you do not feel confident of doing this, you can actually get your camera sent off to go and get this properly cleaned. Ideally, you want to be in an absolutely dust-free room. That way there's no dust that's going to be falling onto the sensor whilst you're cleaning it. But if you are feeling confident and want to give this a go, first of all, I am not responsible. Make sure you take your time, because cleaning your sensor, if it goes wrong, it can absolutely ruin your camera and you'll never be able to use it again. There is other methods that you can actually take before you actually start putting a swab in there and cleaning it. And to do that, what you're going to want to do is turn on your camera, go into your menu setting, go down to this little spanner setting right here on option number 3, and it says right here sensor cleaning. Press it onto there and you can either have it on auto clean enabled, clean now if you want to press that, and it should start cleaning your sensor. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's opening and closing the shutter, and that should clean your sensor. If not, then you might want to take it to the next step and actually use a swab to clean the sensor. So to do that, all you want to do is go back into the menu settings, clean manually, and press OK. That is going to open up your sensor. So you're going to want to take this cap off, and you can see right there, that is the camera sensor. Now, you don't want to be messing around while this sensor is open. You're going to want to get it done pretty quick. So what you're going to want to use is a swab. Try and not touch the end of it, and you want to have some cleaning solution. Put 1 or 2 little drops on there. Does not need to be a lot at all, and pass one time through. Now make sure I'm doing this right. Pass once through onto the camera sensor. You do not need to press down hard. I like to go that way with the wet side and go back across with the dry side, and that should have cleaned it. And now this swab has been used, so you're not going to be able to use this again. So you want to put that straight into the bin, throw a lens onto the camera, go out, take a photo, make sure them black spots have gone, and that right there is your camera sensor cleaned. Now, a lot of people don't mention is cleaning your camera body. We have all of these moving parts where you open up for your SD cards, where you open up for your camera battery. All of these places can hold dust and dirt, and if you don't clean them, they're just going to keep seeping in and start causing problems for the future. So what I like to do is go around the camera, give it a blow, get some of that debris off, and then use my lens wipe and just go around the camera. Obviously cleaning this screen, that's always a good thing to get that cleaned, because obviously if it's a touch screen, always going to be touching it, putting fingerprints all over it, and if you're having fingerprints everywhere, it can start looking grubby. Go around all of the camera body, not forgetting the parts that open up. When it does come to the parts that are open up, I always like to use the rocket blower again, blow some of that dust and dirt out. That way all of the dust is going to blow out and keeping them crevices nice and clean. And once again, you may see some fibres just like that on the LCD screen, so I can either use my brush or I can use my microfiber, give it a once over, and it's like the camera is new again. Well, this camera has been pretty beat up, but you know what I mean. So that right there is exactly how I properly clean my camera gear. Once again, it is really inexpensive and not very time consuming, so it is always worth doing. If you have any questions, make sure you drop it down in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if this video has helped you, make sure you go and like this video. All is appreciated. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to see some more content. Thank you all for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Safe.